and I do with Fuel Up to Play 60 and a variety of other things. And I'm the co-lead for the school sector. And I'll just pop it over to my other co-lead, Christine, and she can introduce herself.
Christine, you're muted.
I'm sorry. I'm Christine, and I support the K through 12 PE teachers in Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. Patrick.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patrick Truba. I'm a planner at Mid-America Regional Council, a transportation planner specializing in active transportation. Jill.
I'm Jill Rayford with Johnson County Department of Health and Environment, and I work on primarily safe routes to school for kids, especially International Walk to School Day and Bike to School Day, and then just supporting any kind of active transportation to school. So I will turn it over to my friend Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie Shoddy, and I'm the Safe Kids Coordinator for Safe Kids Johnson County, and I coordinate all of the injury prevention activities of the coalition.
And I'm the only one left.
Oh, sorry.
I'll go. I'm
Okay.
Shelley Summer. I am the program manager for the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative. So we're happy to have you all here.
Hey, do we want to jump in then to, I think our next was for Jill and Patrick to give us an update. Is that what you have, X? That's what I have on my list.
Yes. Yep. So for the last couple of months, I know that they've been collecting resources because Bike Month is next month. It's May, and also Bike to School Day is May. Isn't it May 5th? Did I get that right, Jill? Oh, you are on mute still.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. Oh, I was so off. That's good to know. And I hope maybe perhaps some of our members of the Kinsey Fiscalton have been sending you resources. I know we've been including it in our school newsletter and our monthly newsletter. So yeah, if you want to share just what's going on, anything that you've collected, and maybe some of the activities planned.
So I can start just kind of on our end for Johnson County, and then I'll be curious to see on Patrick's end. But so yeah, Katie, I appreciate you putting that on the newsletters. I have unfortunately not received anything from anyone regarding their resources for Back to School Day on the, from the coalition. So I am still happy to, pass those on. I think I might have got a few things that I shared with Patrick. Now I can't even remember which ones, it's been so long, but kind of what we're doing here at Johnson County. But primarily Katie and I have been pretty busy. We have been working with Washington Elementary, which is a Title I school in Olathe. And we pick a school to highlight each fall and spring, and they're our spring school. And so we've been working extensively with them for a big celebration on May 3rd. So this year we've turned it into having about 10 resource partners who will have tables of information. It's like I said, a Title I school that has a half of the school that speaks Spanish. So we're getting working with a lot of the Hispanic non-for-profits to have information out regarding healthcare and just various other activities they can be a part of. And then we also are teaming up with with Jewish Family Services, who will have fresh produce for the families to receive that day too. We're working out the logistics, but I think it's going to be the end of the day, because we thought, how are they going to have produce in their lockers all day long, or, when they get to school? So really excited about that addition. So pretty much Katie and I have been focusing on Washington. And then, like I said, any other resources that are Kansas City Metro wide, we've been passing on to Patrick. Katie, did I miss anything? Oh, if she can hear me. But Katie has, since she's with Safe Kids, she was able to secure part of the issue at Washington. We normally offer bike helmets, but they said they had an issue with theft with their bikes. They park on the side of the school that's near a middle school, and I don't know if it's the middle school kids or other neighborhood kids, but they said they've had several bikes stolen. So we were able with Katie's some funds from Safe Kids to purchase some bike locks. So we'll be getting those to them in hopes of they feel safe now being able to ride their bike to school, that will increase biking to school. So we're going to present those to them in the next week or so. But that's kind of what we've been up to with Johnson County. Katie, if you're back, if I missed anything, feel free to jump on and anything I forgot.
You did just great. No, nothing to add. Thanks.
And Patrick, how's it going as far as have you received many? I know I've asked Bike Walk. I think they sent some information, and maybe Johnson County Park and Rec. I think I sent over. Now it's coming back to me. Have you received much other information for resources to share on Mark's page?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not the main one sort of organizing the information to put on the page. Our rideshare coordinator Rachel Krause is doing a lot of that, but she shared with me a short list that I can relate back. And for Johnson County, it looks like we've got the Buddy Pegs event, and yeah, Bike Walk KC events. She said Bike to School Day, but I don't know exactly what that's referring to, if that's a resource page or something else. And then there's other non-Johnson County resources like KC Family Bike Ride, which goes down the Trolley Track Trail in KC Mo. And Wyandotte County, it's actually doing a really big bike month celebration. They decided to start doing that after they hosted the League of American Bicyclists for Bike Friendly Communities workshop. And so we're adding those events too. Aside from Buddy Pegs, I'm not sure. Maybe I just lost your email and I need to go back and find it. But you've probably sent us more than that, right?
Like I said, I have not received any other information from
Okay.
The email that Katie sent out. So I just had reached out to those ones, to Buddy Pegs, JCPRD, to Allison Smith, and to Laura Steele. And they had someone from their organization send me those events. Do you feel like you are looking for more to add, or do you feel like what you have is sufficient? I mean, I can certainly look for other things if you want me to.
Yeah, we'll take as much as we can get. We just want to be sure to cover everything that is out there. So yeah, see if you can find more things, that'd be really great.
Okay. And does anyone else in the group have any events that they're planning to share or know of anything else?
The only things I can think of are past Bike Month, and it starts in June. I know that there's I can't even remember the name of it, but it's a biking event. And I don't know if you're trying to collect resources after Bike Month that are bike related or just pertaining to Bike Month.
I think just during Bike Month.
That's what I figured.
Patrick, did anyone send any information on, and it might have been with what Bike Walk KC sent, but on Bike to Work Week? Do you have anything on that?
I haven't heard of anything, no. It sounds like we didn't get any responses to that form that I sent you. So yeah,
Okay, I'll work on some more resources.
Okay. We've got ads that are we're getting set up to go out to the internet and in KC Today and different things like that. And we hired an illustrator to do a custom illustration for it. And we're also having like kind of bike stories and just the way different people use their bikes. And like that KC Family Bike Ride, we just interviewed her the other day, the organizer of that. So I think it'll be really nice.
So Patrick, when will that go live so that we can share on our event, on our areas too?
I think some of it will go live like the week before May. And I think we're going to advertise on KC Today like May 1st.
Okay. And is it going to just go to mark.org and then, or how will we get to it, that page?
Yeah. So, mark.org. I think we might have made a short URL for it, but or we're going to. Yeah, but it'll go to a page on our website, and you can explore events and resources from there.
Okay. Yeah, so spread the word. If anybody else has anything to share, if you see something, send it to me and then we'll get it passed on to Mark.
Mhm.
And I have a few other contacts I can reach out to see if they have other events too. So we'll get those to you, Patrick. Thank you for
Okay.
doing that.
Sure.
So,
Patrick, I have a few. I'll email you after this meeting.
Awesome.
so are there just not a lot of activities going on Bike to School Day, or outside of, I mean, I guess it makes sense that Bike Walk and Buddy Pegs are two organizations that are, you know, involved in some of this and they have limited capacity, but I'm surprised that they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I
More
know
things listed.
there's several other schools participating in Bike to School Day. So we just can't, obviously be there at all of them, but
Yeah.
we sent out kind of like a general, or we're putting out information on we sent out a postcard to all Johnson County elementary schools, one to the PE teacher, the principal, and the school nurse, just a little postcard, save the date. This is Bike to School Day, plan to ride or walk is fine to school that day. So we've done that. And so I don't know, there is like on Safe Routes to School website, you can register your school if you're planning to participate, but I've found that schools are they don't usually fill that out to let us know. So it's kind of hard, but I'm sure there's going to be lots of, metro wide schools participating on that
Okay.
day.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know. And so how can we help? We are in our monthly newsletter that goes out on Monday. We are promoting May as Bike Month, but in May, our newsletter will be all about biking and bike resources. Although by the time it goes out in May, it will be after Bike to School Day and it'll
Oh,
be mid-month. So it'll go out on the 15th. We'd love to include the general information, or at least a link to the website where all of this information is being housed. So I think, Patrick, you said you'd send that, but is there anything else we could do that would be helpful?
so Shelley, I do have that general flyer just for schools to participate. Would you have any other emails or newsletters that would go out that would be before May 3rd?
Yeah, we'll have one that goes out on Monday.
Okay, if I got that to you, that would be helpful to me, is just to get the word out to
Yeah.
schools. Okay,
Absolutely.
okay, I'll send that.
And then the school's newsletter from this meeting will go out and it can be included in that as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
I think if you're sending things out to schools, then better than sharing our resources would be sharing Bike to School resource pages. I'll put one in the chat there that I think we usually think
Oh, yeah.
about. But yeah, I think our page is just going to be collecting anything and everything, not necessarily related to schools. And yeah, so that might be a better target for your newsletter.
I had a question for Jill. Would you be willing to send me, I don't know if you have it as an attachment, the postcard and the flyer, and I can reach out to, I think it was Blake Hensley with the Wyandotte County. I didn't know there was anything going on in Wyandotte County. I haven't been in touch with Blake, but I do regularly send out information to all the PE teachers who have access to all kids in KCK. I just don't have time to create the material, but
Mhm.
I have access to them and they were excited last year. So
Yeah, I can certainly send you the flyer. The postcard, I'll look and see what I have. I may have I don't know if you'll be able to, it's from our print shop, so I don't know if they designed it, if you'd be able to make the changes to put, your information on it, but I'll send it to you. You can look
Yeah.
at what we did. Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
I'm guessing our communications team, I could probably just send it to the district communications team and she could take it and just create just like, oh, that's what they're doing, create something that could go out to our district website even.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I could pull that up here while I'm on it so I can show you. And we also had tons of stickers made. I mean, for some reason, you know, kids, they just love their stickers. So we're gonna be, we put some with like, you know, May 3rd, save the date. And so it'll be a busy week, but I'm hoping to get to a couple of the schools that I work with and just drop them off at the front desk so that they put them on the kids the day before as a reminder. I'm gonna look through my print shop order and see.
I dropped the Wyandotte County Bike Month website in the chat.
Thank you.
Let me see if that worked. Oh, that's our little sticker, but it didn't have the date on there. That didn't quite work. Let me try that again. So I'll keep adding these to the chat as I find them here.
Awesome. Thank you, Jill. And thank you, Patrick, for those websites as well.
Sure.
Pull up the agenda. Did anybody else have anything else related to Bike Month? Okay, so Jill, while you post those resources,
Yeah,
trying to
sorry.
click all these up too. We can go ahead and move on to our next agenda item, which is reviewing an implementation proposal that involves both the Parks and Recreation sector and the school sector. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the chat so everyone can see it, but I will also share it on my screen. And if you've never been a part of a review process for an implementation proposal, I should probably provide a background. So the Kinsey Fiscal Activity Plan has a funding available for each of our sectors up to $12,000. And yes, so the goal is to have our partners apply for these funds in support of these strategies for those sectors, but we also want it to be multi-level. And so what we'll do today is we'll review this proposal, see if it aligns with the school sector strategies they've listed, as well as the parks strategies they've listed, and is it multi-level? I'm obviously terrible at trying to do two things at once, pulling this up and talking. So let me pull this up first. So I'll drop it in the chat first. This is a Word document. It does have some comments already included. It's the school strategies they've listed and the park strategies they've listed. Okay. See if I can do this. I'm gonna share a different version. My bad. Thanks for everyone's patience. This one. Okay. Can everyone see this? Okay, perfect. And was everyone able to access the Word version in the chat? Okay. So Christine, I know that this proposal came through you. I didn't know if you wanted to go ahead and provide a background of it, kind of like we did yesterday with Parks.
Mhm. Yeah,
Thank
let
you.
me find my notes. Yeah, so I think the teacher that I was working with just recognized that am I on mute?
No,
That there used to be more, that the participation for girls in volleyball at the rec centers is very low, and that our sixth graders in Kansas City, Kansas do not have the opportunity to play volleyball in the organized system. It's just for seventh and eighth graders. So she proposed a project reaching out to our fifth graders as they're leaving this spring to invite them to a 6-week volleyball league that would take place at our 6 rec centers. After yesterday's meeting, I did send them some extensive just action items to fix. So it looks like, I know in there, yeah, the goal is to have the 6 rec centers be the locations, and that the coaches, the idea was to either invite high school volleyball, invite the girls to work with players, and or the coaches would be parent volunteers, and all of these individuals would receive a coaching session by someone related to the project or the rec center. And it looks like that would be the coordinator. The strategies fall under Parks and Rec. We tried to also connect it to schools because I thought that the sports sector was had already used their funds. So I know that the goal would be to collect data to increase the number of students engaging in volleyball, and try to increase the number of girls to enjoy that programming. And the school sector looks like the tie there would be to use the CSAP model, the Comprehensive School Physical Activity Plan, to increase family engagement and advocacy for additional projects to just involve more families within the community. And I don't know that they selected which systems don't apply, but just point A, it does apply to the individual interpersonal behavior. And B, we talked about having access to the volleyball in the community centers. I actually didn't read through the conclusion yesterday when I was writing the list out. But I'm pretty sure the purpose of this is to really get them springboarding onto restarting that program with the hope that it would continue on its own. The funding, I know that they're going to change the funding point. I have not heard back from them. I just sent them information about the flyer using a QR code and going through Peachjar. Our district has an electronic way to deliver flyers. And I also checked with the print shop yesterday. They were able to quote us like, I don't know, $15, $20 for 2 posters for each of the 28 elementary schools. And then we've got volleyballs, and I think the carts can be exchanged for mesh bags. And then I did invite them to, I don't know if they would look at, I don't know if that's market value, trying to figure out what officials should be paid, but we made a note on that maybe that number there might be low. And then trying to reach more clarity around the stipends for middle school supervisors. I'm not sure that that's necessary, since it's most likely an athletic director or PE teacher at the middle school, and that's exactly what we already do. We already are constantly making connections with the community and opportunities. And then the last was coordinator stipend, getting more information about what they were thinking for that, because other than somebody leading a coaching session, some of those responsibilities might already be included in their job description at the community center. So I think this project is doable for a lot less. And Robin, you had mentioned something about the balls. If there are 15 balls per 6 locations, did you say that even the 3,600 for 80 balls is high, right?
Yeah, where I had kind of looked at a different place, I mean, depending on what type of ball they wanted, but yeah, because I had seen them anywhere between $27 to like $33 a ball, which would, I think they had initially said something about $75 a ball or something. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know how it
Oh.
works. So yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. I had found her a quote for something closer, I think, in that range that you mentioned. So I will.
Yeah.
I just didn't. Yeah, I think it's a great project. I think their numbers can be. They can edit those, and it might be a great starting place to get the 6th graders in the mix.
Katie, I know we mentioned the possibility of, with some adjustments, then also looking at was it in pulling in sport too. So it would possibly be divided 3 different ways, or I'm trying to think of how that, I don't know how the recreation Parks and Rec conversation was. So.
Yeah, I didn't know if they add, if they're able to add sports, would you recommend them taking schools off?
We
I think-
discussed.
Okay.
Yeah, we discussed it yesterday. And for those who don't know, the process of this, if it has more than one sector, we bring it to the co-leads first and the applicants to kind of discuss and see if this is worth moving on to the entire group. And so we had a discussion yesterday around that to see if it did fit with both of these sectors, and it was agreed that it does. And Christine and Robin are correct. This obviously, it's a sport activity, it's volleyball. So we will be taking the sports sector as well. And they originally were going to use all their funds to support a project play from Aspen Institute. Well, that is being funded from another source. So sports sector has all of their funding available now. Just a little background.
So just something to note for the applicant. So my first question is, who are the actual applicants? And is their name and organization listed on here anywhere?
that's a good point. Where would you, should they put that in number one? Like where would they, where's the best place for that?
Yeah, where it says our proposal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is
It
the
would be
part,
great if
yeah.
it started with this proposal is from this person at this organization and this person at this organization, or however many organizations are included.
Yeah, Andrea Bierman is a high school PE teacher at Sumner Academy, and her family has just a strong connection over the past 4 years with the rec centers and community centers in KCK. And so this is near and dear to her heart. She would love to see a new rec center built where she could just run the whole thing. And so she had this idea, and she reached out to, I believe, Shea Lockett, who I'm not sure if she's over all the Parks and Rec. I actually am not sure, but I know she's connected to Parks and Rec, and she might be at that higher level.
Great.
I haven't, yeah. So I can have them
And
add that there.
is there currently programming at volleyball programming through Parks and Rec?
Trying to remember. I feel like Andrea looked up numbers from, I don't know if it was last year. I think there was something, but the numbers were just, I don't know if she put it in there.
Well, so my question really is, why volleyball? So there must be some reason that they picked volleyball. And is it because they already have great programming? I'm making this up, but let's say they already have great programming for 7th and 8th graders and they just want to extend it down to 6th graders.
The
Maybe they
school has programming, the school district has programming for 7th and 8th graders. But they're seeing 6th graders coming in, not having any, they just don't have a lack of, right, Christine? Like there's
Yeah.
cross country and track that they could do, but there's not anything else that they could do. So they were wanting to bring in another opportunity for those 6th grade girls to introduce them, get them involved at that point, I think in the middle school level. And we had some other questions too, Shelley, that we had our call to bring back to help kind of add answers.
Someone highlighted it. The project was chosen because she looked at the numbers and it appeared to be the lowest number of students currently participating in the programming offered by Wyandotte County's Park and Rec program.
So my only suggestion would be adding a little bit more clarity there. There are many words that could be interpreted in different ways. But if there are already, if they're choosing volleyball because there are already quite a few who are interested in 7th and 8th grade and participate, they just want to extend it to 6th grade. That definitely demonstrates infrastructure exists to fit this in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can have her include a piece about I don't think that the numbers at the rec center demonstrate a 7th and 8th grade strong programming, but our 7 middle schools, because they offer the 7th and 8th grade piece for volleyball, it would be awesome if the rec programming for 6th graders was strong. So that would spill into that, but we can take those two together and show that the 7th and 8th grade does have programming at the middle schools, and we're trying to connect it to 6th graders getting prepared at the rec centers. And that'd be a good point. Yeah.
And what commitments do they have already? So it sounds like she's already talked to Wyandotte County Parks and Recreation. What commitments have they made, if any? And what commitments have any of the potential coaches made, if any?
I don't think that the project has been explored that far because they talked about inviting coaches and reaching out to high school girls. And so I did ask for clarity around the timeline, because it would have to be either after volleyball's over for those high school girls to have time to go and coach. So we asked for clarity on the timeline, the outline of the budget, the flyers, who's the coordinator, and just questions about or offering alternatives to the cart.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
one thing I always consider with things like this, so as we look at the scoring rubric, because it's not multi-level, that really decreases its chances for being accepted for funding. And without having clear commitments from different organizations that would say, yeah, our coaches said yes if we get the funding. The Parks and Rec said yes if we get the funding. It fits in here. All we need is the money to cover, equipment, etc. It makes it hard for this to meet the scoring threshold for funding. And so having those pieces, doing a little bit more legwork on the front end could
Mhm.
increase their chances of scoring high enough, since it's not multi-level.
Yeah. And
It's
multi-level.
really just interpersonal, individual
Right.
behavior.
Yeah, and that's where on Tuesday we had a conversation, Christine and Katie and myself, and then Allison from the Parks and Recs too. And that's where we were like looking at it and kind of came back with more questions. So Shelley, your additional questions are really helpful too, as Christine can go back and visit with them. Because we also, timing and just some pieces of the like which system and does the project, kind of the next, I guess it's right before the rubric area, making sure that those are well defined. So it's a little more detailed out for us to be able to really look at it and see, oh, we could visualize this in action. I think that piece of it. So we did have a good conversation.
When you think about sectors and which sectors make sense, it's important to look at the strategies for the sectors to make sure it aligns with the strategy of that sector before, I guess, before making the case to that sector that this could be a multi-sectoral project. But as I look at the sports strategies, it definitely aligns with strategy 23, which is a sports sector strategy, and it's leaders in multiple sectors should expand access to recreational spaces and quality sports programming while focusing on eliminating disparities, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
So-
we didn't, we had that originally, and then because I thought it was already, their funds were used, we took off. We just
Well,
took
even if
sports
their
off
funds are
completely.
used,
Yeah.
demonstrating that it's cross-sectoral is important for
yeah.
scoring.
Yeah,
And so
Yeah, and
it may
okay.
be that, you're not asking for any of their money because it might already be spent, but it definitely improves your scoring.
okay. Can you scroll back up to the levels? Because yesterday they were saying that it fell under B for built environment design under
How-
access to spaces, but it's not adding a space, and maybe
Yeah,
that's what
correct.
it needed to do. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that helps. I hope. I haven't heard back from them, so I don't know. I know that she has a spring sport that she's coaching in addition to her teaching. I just suggested that they take all this info, and it's probably easier just to take a new application and just redo it, because there was quite a few. I did the volleyball. The amount that they said for the volleyballs was they listed 3,600, which originally I think it was something higher. But that came to about $44 per ball, which is closer to the range that you were talking about, Robin. But again, I think that 27 to 37, that would be a really nice ball, because that was even higher than what I had found for her. So
They must have adjusted that, I think, since initially when they had said that. Yeah.
okay, yeah, thanks. Again, I will be following up with her and pop over to her school and just see how soon they can put a new one together.
Okay. Well, did anybody else have any additional feedback? Okay. Well, that's the case. We can go ahead and move on. I know it's almost time. We've got about 12 minutes left. So the next agenda item was just discussing the results of our Microsoft form that was sent out at the last school sector, in the last school sector newsletter. We did only have one person reply, so it makes it a little difficult to kind of figure out what time works best for everybody. Obviously, we want to involve teachers and stuff, but it's hard. A lot of things, yeah, Christine's shaking her head. It's hard. But that doesn't mean we don't want other people involved too who deal within the school setting. The results from the one individual said anytime between Monday and not anytime, afternoon, mornings or afternoons, anytime between Monday and Thursday. I wanted to know, does this time seem well for everybody? Does this work, or should we think about scheduling it even earlier? When we first started the sector group, we looked at times and how many people used to participate. It was held earlier in the month and on at an earlier time. Mind you, we have around 80 people within this group. And obviously we don't have that many people here today. So does anybody have any comments, thoughts on that?
I mean, I like the 1 o'clock or earlier. The 3:30s are hard to make because I've got other commitments that, after post work. So that's what I would vote for. What time did we used to meet? Does anyone remember? Was it like a 10 o'clock? It's been so long. I don't even remember. Was it like 10 o'clock or?
It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. It moved times twice within the first year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that works for me. And I like when we kind of set a time so we know each month what it will be. If it's like the first week or whatever you all decide, the first or last week or whatever, so we can just kind of plan on it.
I know I typically on the third Thursday of the month have a meeting that starts at 1:30 till 3:30. So that third would be at 1 to 2 would be difficult for me. Not that if it works for everybody, I could be here for the first 30 minutes, but I was just.
I was gonna say, this is Katie Shoddy, and I prefer morning. Yeah, late afternoon does not work for me as well. So anytime in the morning is good. Thursdays are good, just not like after 2:30. Actually, I'd like to be done by 2.
Well, do we want to try this time one more for another month? Because it sounds like this time works. It's 1 o'clock, 1 to 2. So we'd be over by 2. This is the second Thursday of the month. Does that work for everyone? And we can, reevaluate again next month if we would like to, if attention's still low. We can try switching to an earlier time and just test it out.
So you're saying May 11th, Katie?
Let me pull up my calendar. I'm so bad at this. Yeah, May 11th.
Okay. Yeah, and I teach a class every other Thursday, but the 11th is an off day, so I can do the 11th if it's at 1 or earlier.
Perfect. Let's do it. We'll try this time again because, we're just testing out, trying to see what works for everybody. And we can reevaluate again next month if this doesn't seem to be working. Trying to find that perfect time.
And Katie, do we have
Yeah.
maybe the people who have attended? I know some have gone to other sectors because it very well fits in what they are doing, but maybe some of our previous regular attenders or people can we maybe not have it? Could it just be sent as an email? Hey, we're adjusting the time. This will be the meeting, but maybe not through the Eventbrite, and just say, look for that to come. Because I'm wondering sometimes if that gets caught up. I mean, just checking, like from either maybe you or Shelley, it could be sent, and just wanted you all to know we're testing this little earlier timeout, and maybe even do the survey that way in case they just didn't get in and look at the other big other email. I don't know, just wondering.
No, yeah, you make a good point. There was something else that's later on in was supposed to be for our agenda. We did switch our email, so a lot of our communications have been going to people's spam folders. So that might be what's happening. When we changed our name to the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative, we changed our email address. So yeah, so like Eventbrites and MailChimps have not been reaching people, and that could obviously be contributing to this. But I love that idea. I can go ahead and pull a couple of the last, I wouldn't say these last months at beginning of this year, but maybe last year, and I'll look at between like maybe January and May and see who attended and what those numbers look like, and try and put together an email.
And I know we had some other health departments like Clay County and some of that. And of course, I know life and the world has changed and focuses have changed, and they might be part of one of the other sectors and they're just attending then. So we're just not sure. So just thought about that.
Yeah, I know that the public health sector just started, and we do have a lot of individuals from different public health departments. I think Clay County is one of them. So
Makes sense. So
no, I love that idea. Thank you. And thank you everyone for your input. It's very helpful.
I just wanted to say on May 11th, I do have Kansas Kids Fitness Day, but don't change it because it's just like one of those once a year type events. So
a big event.
yeah, it's a big event.
It's a big event for you guys, definitely.
Okay, well, we have 5 minutes. I would love to give an opportunity for people to do group updates, but I wanted to say one thing. You'll see on Monday in our monthly newsletter, if you receive it, save the date, June 29th, we have our next Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative quarterly meeting. We do not have a guest speaker yet, but more information will come. Okay, does anybody have any updates they'd like to share from their organization? I know we talked a lot about Bike Month, but is there anything else going on anybody would like to share? It's been a pretty full meeting. Ooh, Shelley, you sent me that all I can think about is seed. It's from the early childhood sector of the MOCAN group, but it was, I have it pulled up. Let me look at it. Promoting Specialty Crops in Missouri Schools Grant Program. Do you know anything? I didn't attend that meeting. I don't know.
I think it's on the Missouri side. So I don't know if any of you have heard of it or are interested in it. And, most of you are Kansas side. But it is reimbursement for purchase of specialty crops for the use of education within a school or early care and education setting. So I was wondering if anybody in this group would be interested in it. But the other side is we can put it in the school's newsletter to disseminate a little bit more broadly so people on the Missouri side would be able to see it.
I think that's a good idea to share it. I had read it yesterday. Yeah, that's when I got it. I forgot. So it's that's exciting though, that's something that they can get reimbursed for. So
Yeah.
Well, if nobody has anything else to share, you get 3 minutes of your life back. It's a lot.
Thanks,
Well,
everybody.
thank you, everyone. Yeah, thanks for
Thank you.
attending. We'll see you next month, May 11th at 11 p.m.
AM.
Well,
I
it's
meant.
11. Thank you.
Oh.
I meant 1.
11 or 1?
Yeah,
May 11th at 1 p.m.
Okay.
there we go. All the ones.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.